Hello and welcome to this video. Today we are going to make artwork out of this sculpture here. It's a sculpture of Pit from Kid Icarus and it's made by Todor Kolev, and of course I will link their stuff in the description. So let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm gonna use this crown and I'm gonna do some tests with it. So first I'm gonna separate it into its own object, and then I'm going to add some lights and actually some environment as well, which I don't think we'll be using later, but it's kind of useful just to see how the material is behaving and how we can change it. So the main thing we're going to do is basically add materials to this model, which basically means we're going to paint it. And the first thing I'm doing here is taking every piece from the sculpture and separating them into its own thing, and this makes it a lot easier to work with, and also it will help quite a bit with performance, because this is pretty dense object. There's a lot of stuff going on because it's a sculpture, and that's usually what happens with sculptures. And so this will help the performance because it's quite a bit laggy for me to work with. And I'm kind of just selecting one part, and then I'm asking the program, can you select everything that connects to this part? And then I separate it out. And this is a very common operation, and so you can do this automatically in the program. And I'm a bit new to this program, but I still should have known that this was possible, but I just didn't think about it, so I just did it completely manually. And in some ways that's better, because if I did it automatically, chances are it will kind of separate things more than I would actually want to. And here I'm starting to work with the weapon, and the ends of these swords are supposed to be golden. And at first I think that I can just select those surfaces which are on the edge, but I kind of quickly realized that this wasn't too viable. Actually, when I look at it now, it doesn't look too bad, but it's not a good edge, and fixing it was gonna be quite hard. So eventually I decided that I will try to paint a mask instead, and that ended up working a lot better. But I did have even though I did have a lot of issues with it, it would just crash the program, or it would just not paint, and I kind of cut out a lot of those just by not recording them. But here you see me starting to actually paint it in. And right now I think I'm doing some tests to see that if this is gonna work well, and it turns out that yeah, it's gonna work, and then I just paint in the rest. What you're seeing is basically that I'm painting white where I want the golden color to come through, and where it's black, the inner detailing of the weapon will come through instead, which will be kind of a blue color. And here you will finally see the golden color, and then I just continue. I'm making the shirt here, but I remember it's going to crash here, so this progress is gonna be lost and I'm gonna have to redo it. And yeah, that's kind of a common problem that I had. A lot of crashing for different reasons, and that's never very good, but we made it work in the end, so it's okay. And here I'm making the wings, and I really wanted to feel like kind of semi-transparent, like a milky white, and I think the result was really good. And here you see me remaking the shirt. And then I'm applying the same material as the shirt also to the shorts, and after seeing the shorts I kind of adjust the colors and reflection and such as well. And here I'm going to select the third item, which will have the same color, which is this hand thingy thing. And then this is what I'll be doing a lot, is just kind of selecting parts that should be a certain color. This is what I wanted to do on the weapon, but it didn't really work out. But for the rest of the sculpture, this process worked fine. So I'm selecting every part of these hand braces that are supposed to be golden, and the rest of this part I don't have to select out because it's simply the rest of it. So, and I'll be applying a leather color to that. And then I'm doing pretty much the same for the belt. Just a lot of selection everywhere, selection. And there we go, the belt is finished, and we'll be moving on to his garmenting thing. And I also wanted this to be a bit transparent, but not really like as milky as the wings. I just wanted to be a little bit transparent, but mostly white. Then I'm making the skin color, which I will be coming back to a few times. It's a bit too pale to start with, it needs to be more red. And then I'll just be continuing to add more color to him. And he has this really cute button on his shoulder, so I really like that detail, even though it's very simple. And here I'm selecting like his foot nails because I thought that was important. I don't know if you can even see this. I don't think you can see this in the final result, but I thought this is important clearly, and the result was not bad either. And don't forget the completely hidden fingernails either. Here I'm going to attempt to paint his lips, also because I wanted them to have a little bit of a fade to the end or to the bottom of them. So the best way to do that would be to paint another mask where white means lips and black means skin. But I had some issues with it, which you can see here, but it's kind of hard to explain. But basically, like when I tried to put on the paint, it kind of went in the wrong place, and that's why I had to do all these things, but it's hard to explain, so. And here I'm adding the gradient to the lips that I talked about, but I will be coming back to that later, because the faded part kind of just look like skin, and that wasn't really what I wanted. And now it's time to start to work on the eyes. And I'll be making this circle here, and I'll be putting an eye image on top of it that I found online, and actually it's inspired by the Monogatari series, which I absolutely love. So it was, you know, pretty much perfect. And I'm making this like eye globe this eye, kind of like a real eye, but this won't really be working out, but it was a nice try. Here you can see the problem, like it basically just doesn't fit in the eye hole. So I guess it's like anime eyes are just not supposed to have eye globes. But I'm still just trying to figure out if it will actually work, and you know, just trying to move around this iris, and you know, is it gonna work with like a globe or not? And in the end I realized, you know, it's just not gonna work. So then my second attempt is that I'm going to add the image on top of this, these like eye covers, I don't know what to call them. And so I tried that out, and it looks great, I think. But then I realized that it's gonna be annoying, because as you can see, the image kind of repeats itself, and I don't want that, and I don't want to deal with that. So it's just easier to take that iris I already had and basically just like put it on the surface, which is something you can do, and that ends up working great. And there we go, perfect anime eyes. And here comes the next big hurdle. Basically the box you're seeing there, the yellow box, is a cloud. It's actually a cloud, because I'm gonna put him in the clouds. And this ends up having a lot of problems that I need to solve. For example, having two of the same clouds made the program all confused and stuff like that. And actually a lot of footage I don't have, because I just had to restart the program a lot and things were going weird. And so I didn't record all of that, but in the end it worked out really well. You can see some of the renderings here where you can see that the box actually turns into a cloud, and you can also see that it turns into like a big fluff, and that's when it either bugged out or was working with the settings or whatever. And here's the first render, and I was super duper happy with this. But then if you zoom in, you see that there's this weird thing going on the face with some sort of pointy lighting. So that's what we'll be fixing next. Took a bit of troubleshooting, but then I realized it was just a shadow from the sun, and I don't really want the sun to affect him. So, well, at first I tried to fix it like you can see, but then I just removed the sun from him and I just used normal lights that I already had set up, and that was an easy fix. Here I'm fixing the lips like I talked about earlier, and I'm just extending the bottom part a bit so it doesn't look like the skin goes like halfway across the lip. And then it's just about making some final adjustments. Now I'm finished with the art part, I guess, and now I'm just going to make like this turntable where he can spin around and around so that we can see him from all angles, because he's supposed to be a figurine after all. And I'm just trying to make these rocks look a bit more interesting. I don't know if I succeed, but it looks fine in the end. I also found out while making the video and not making, him, that apparently he doesn't fly, but I think he belongs in the skies anyways. And I'm just setting up this kind of studio environment with, studio lights and a white background, and that's about it. And then he spins round and around. I end up coming back to this a lot afterwards, which I don't record, but just to make some small adjustments, like he's not quite centered, he spins a bit weird, all of that stuff. And for some reason I made the image square, but this video is not square, so that's annoying. But that's about it. So that's about it for me. I hope you liked this video, and I will link like high quality images and all that good stuff. And don't forget to check out Todor Kolev that made the initial sculpt, and all of that good stuff will be in the description. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe and all that stuff. Bye bye.